And hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we discuss the joy and excitement of U of L women's athletics. And certainly a very exciting week has gone by in the annals of the Cards women's sports. And we're here to kind of talk to you about it a little bit and cover some of it, the good and the bad, as we always do. We are back down to the days of old, back when Jeff and I used to go to a little place that was a basement on a hill and do broadcasts for our very, very selves and nobody else
Yeah, we
except us
had
monk.
pumpkin.
We had Pumpkin and Monk back in the control
Yeah.
room, that's true. And Pumpkin would bark every once in a while if Jeff made a good point. But yeah, it's been a long time. It's just been you and I, guy. How about that?
Yeah, it's been I don't know, a few months ago I think we had one, but yeah, it's been a little while. So
Daryl has enlisted in the Foreign Legion and won't be with us anymore. No, I'm kidding. She's she is engaged in that, doing engagement stuff, and she had something else going on today, a doctor's appointment, I think. So she won't be with us. Uh, Case is tied up at a, what did he say, nephew's birthday party or niece's birthday party. So
don't know.
those are important, so we can understand him missing the broadcast to go eat cake and ice cream and blow stuff and blow through a horn and stuff. Yeah, why not? Sounds like fun. I can't remember why Jared isn't with us. I know I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think.
don't new house stuff maybe. I don't know.
Probably that is my guess because he's just recently started moving stuff over, and yeah, it's probably a situation like that for him. But nevertheless, Jeff and I will continue on and carry on in the annals of the broadcast as we've done for so many years now. First of all, let's just kind of catch up with you, pal. How's it going?
Oh, same old, same old. Work stuff. I was beating my head against the wall late yesterday and then realized my problem late last night. Um, it was me being stupid, because that's pretty common. Um, I've got a conference coming up in a few weeks that I'm looking forward to. It'll take me out to Denver. Should be fun. Yeah. Still waiting on my new laptop that I pre-ordered a little while back. So that's still anticipating that. So yeah, same old, same old. Nothing crazy new going on.
Things are the same, even though they change constantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
As for me, yeah, just a kind of a really a pretty uneventful week in a lot of ways. Although I did not get out to see the events this week, was able to cover stuff on the ACC Network Extra when it was provided. Unfortunately, volleyball was not last night. We'll get into that a little bit later. But and just been kind of hanging in there, doing what I do, and taking care of business, as they say, and also taking a look at some other things going on, not U of L related, but also things that I'm interested in that are happening in my own personal life. So there we go with that. But this is the time of the show when we get into scheduling and Twitter. And I'm looking here to see who's available to do that today. Daryl, no, Ken. Hey, it looks like you get me today. All right. For scheduling and X information. So, yeah, I'll do what I can with it. I'm not going to go into a great detail on it.
I'll try and backstop you a little bit here.
Yeah, if you can, I'll drive one into the circle, and if you can tap it home for the goal, that'll be great.
Yeah.
But let's go with, I guess, first stop would be the 22nd, probably.
There's nothing today.
That'll be tomorrow. We got field hockey. They will be playing Appalachian State over at Traeger, and it's a senior afternoon. So come on out and say hello to Justin, or goodbye, I guess maybe you're both, Justine Sauer seniors, as they will be playing. I think it's their last regular home game, Jeff, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that could be. Give me a
But
second, and I'll
if not,
let you
that'll
know.
be, yeah. So they're going to go out there and give it their best against App State after, well, we'll get into that in just a little bit, but it hasn't been exactly sunshine, lollipops, and roses for field hockey so far this weekend.
Yes, this is the last home game. They only have one more in the regular season. That's up at Boston College on Friday.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they traditionally end up at BC up there in Newton, Mass, as they like to call it. And then
Chestnut Hill.
we'll get into the tournament. Yes, always fun time for the Cards. I think if I read that right, I think Louisville field hockey was tied for fourth in the conference standings right now. So I'm not sure if that would probably get them Boston College in a turnaround match again.
Yeah, we're tied. There's a three-way tie for fourth place. Us, Boston
So,
College, and Syracuse at the moment.
so
Presumably everybody still has a conference game. Obviously, us versus Boston College will break that part of the tie. Depends on what Syracuse does.
yeah, that'll be fun to see what happens on that then to
Yeah.
see it. And certainly the Cards, they play this at the Wake Med Forest in Cary, North Carolina, and usually as a rule. Uh, let's wish them the best. It's not going the greatest form lately, but we'll see. We'll get into that a bit. Also on the 22nd, we have women's soccer, as they will be down at Wake Forest tomorrow for a 12:30 match against the Demon Deacons. Certainly, let's hoping that they can turn around and get some wins rolling here late in the season here as they go down and visit the Demon Deacons. Also, looking at the 22nd, this is a busy 22nd day too, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Volleyball. Got Virginia Tech coming or going into the Virginia Tech house down in Blacksburg in Virginia. Down there did they play that one in the Casa Coliseum? Do you remember?
I don't know. I don't
I
know the
know
name of
that's
that
where they used to
place.
play their basketball, but I'm not sure where they take place on
Yeah.
that one there. But so we'll see what happens for them as they go down to face the Hokies. That's right. And then looking, men's soccer also is playing on the 22nd, as they will be at North Carolina. By golly gosh, a lot of events going on. It seems like on Sunday, and well, just not too many of them happening on campus. But you get that sometimes.
They do play at Castle Coliseum
Okay, yeah,
for volleyball.
nice little arena down there. It's just very cozy. I guess would be the best term for it. 23rd, and I'm at a point now where I can't really tell what all these are, but I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to do that because I don't do this very often. On the 23rd, it looks like there's women's tennis going on, and the women's tennis will be happening uh, actually through the 23rd, from what I'm seeing here. The 18th through the 23rd is the ITA Ohio Valley Regionals that are taking place. So good luck to the Cards in that. And then women's golf also has an event going on the 23rd. And I'm going to see if I can bring that up real quick. I'm having so much fun with this. They're playing in the Ally, uh, ALLY. This is a new one to me. I'm not really sure. I think there might be a bank named Ally.
It's a bank or insurance or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they have some sponsorships with like Racing Level 2. So
This will be taking place down in West Point, Missouri. Or is that Mississippi? MISS. That's Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, it's good because Mississippi State is sponsoring the event.
Yeah.
So that would make sense, okay? So they'll go do that down there Monday. And we haven't done much on our golfers this year, and we need to kind of get back into that a little bit. We just need to talk to them a little bit more, I think, and talk what's going on with them a little bit more.
Yeah, got some decent success out of that team. Hannah Riskova is doing pretty well from what I'm the degree to which I follow it. She seems like she's doing pretty well.
Yeah, Hammer and Hannah always had the potential there, as Kelly Young used to say. It's just a chip here and a putt here that's keeping her from perfection. That pretty much describes my golf game for years.
Yeah.
Too many chips and putts here and there. Let's go to the 24th then. I'm seeing that softball has got an event here. And I'm saying, what?
They added a fall day. Added another
looks like
day for
that,
fall.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, they will be actually bringing in Southern Indiana, USI, will be coming to Omer for a exhibition date here, and this will be at 6 p.m. Wait a second, that's not right. That's
I say
5 p.m.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 p.m. I'm at Omer. Go to see some preseason softball and see what it potentially could look like as we roll later on into the year. Always fun to go out to Omer and watch the softball play. Good time, as we have done many, many times in the past, to see them out there
Mhm.
performing. Going to Wednesday, women's golf, of course, is still going on. We'd mentioned that. Uh, we'll take it to Thursday then and see what's happening there. And we have women's soccer going to be playing an event, as the Cards will actually be taking on Duke out at Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium in a conference matchup. 6 p.m. start on that one. Uh, Man, I don't know why they go with the early starts on these. I've gotten so used to the 7:30 start, and now all of a sudden they're going to 6 p.m.
Late in the season, maybe they're trying to get some of the warmth of the day still. Don't know.
It's a good a reason as any, either that or
Yeah,
because of flight arrangements. Maybe I don't know.
it's possible.
But Duke always a tough foe for us when we take them on in anything, and I'm sure the way the women's soccer is going lately, it'll be a tough contest for us as well. We'll do the best we can with it and see what happens. Then it looks like a pretty action-packed Friday coming up here, from what I can tell and look at. The cross country championships will be taking place for the ACC down in Tallahassee, Florida, Jeff. So hey, if you want to get out the old jogging shoes and go down there and try something, help yourself. We'll be down there facing the other ACC schools for the cross country championships. A lot of fun with that. Rowing will be taking part in the head of the Black Warrior River. That's an interesting name for a river, isn't it?
Hmm.
The Black Warrior River. That'll actually be a 2 day event. Excuse me, the 27th and the 28th, and that'll be taking place in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide hosting that. So hope our rowers can do well down there. Field hockey, well, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, will be finishing up the regular season up at Boston College in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. That Friday game is a 2 p.m. game, so interesting time for that one. And I don't know if there'll be anything available on the ACC Network Extra or not on this one. I haven't seen anything as of yet, but we'll keep you posted on that just to let you know if we see anything.
Boston College field hockey. That's a good question. Real quick.
We'll find out. Jeff will check that out for us. Is also on the Friday. Volleyball. We'll be bringing in FSU. That's right. Florida State comes to town in the L&N Federal Credit Union Arena.
Could be a good match.
Yeah, a 7 o'clock match. These days, you have to kind of look and say, well, this could be a potentially good match the way the Cards have been playing lately. But no.
Depends on which team shows up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Field hockey is streamed on ACC Network Extra on Friday.
Okay, so you'll be able to watch that one out of Chestnut Hill.
Yep.
As I think Boston College is, if I remember correctly, they're first or second in the conference right now. They're up there pretty high. So the Cards will have their work cut out for them in field hockey against them. That's for sure. Let's hope that they can come out and do it. And then that'll bring us right back around as we go to Saturday. And then rowing will still be going on down there at Blackwater. And that's really the only other women's event on Saturday going on. As that will take us through scheduling. And as far as X information, and I keep on threatening to discontinue this part of the show because, I mean, we get some play and stuff on X, but we've got it all listed on the website and everything else. But hey, Jeff, tell us about your 2 X sites.
What little I use it anymore, I use almost completely under my own name, Jeff McAdams. I do have the Card Couple Radio account. About the only time I posted anything on that is when I'm out at Ulmer. So, I haven't really used that much in a while. So Yeah, you can follow it. It's not going to hurt you anything to follow it if you're on the service, because I don't post much. But yeah,
And there are no charges either for him
for now.
for now. As for me, I'm Cardinal Couple. You can follow me on Twitter, and had some interesting people follow me the other day that I wasn't really sure what fan base they were with, or what school they were with, or anything. And then they started sending me some personal IMs,
Hmm.
and I found out it was a dating service.
Hmm.
So there
Yeah,
you go. How about that? Even the old man is popular at his age. Yahoo.
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You believe that?
that's exactly what it is. These girls just couldn't live without the Cardinal Couple guy. Case is also on there. He's the best case scenario. There's no E in best. Uh, Jared is a Mr. Anderson, Jared, if I remember right.
Yep.
And you can follow him for his photos and commentary on things. He's probably, my guess is, the most active out of all of us on X.
Yeah.
If you want to follow somebody, so if you do want to narrow it down to one person to follow, I'd say go with Jared. You'll get a lot more stuff. But why not watch us all? And last but not least, Daryl is on. Daryl Faust 4, the number 4. And you can follow Daryl's comments and things that she does. Mostly hers are kind of about sporting events that she's watched or attended, and some of her comments about them. So that's always fun. But we did see some other stuff, and we got to see her wedding ring. And a congratulations to her as her engagement ring is she is now an engaged woman. Jeff, can you believe it? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I can believe it. I kind of thought it was kind of about time, and yeah, it was a well done proposal. I think, even if I was a little snarky about it in our group chat.
Oh, it's pretty cool to be able to go out and spend such an action packed weekend for a week, 8 week
Yeah,
actually. And you had the hot air balloons going on out there in Albuquerque.
yeah, they did a number of really cool things out there at the Albuquerque Balloon Festival, which is always amazing by everything I understand. They did several rounds of golf while they were
Got
out
to
in the
play
area.
some golf out there, and there's some
Yeah.
beautiful golf courses out that way. And then I also got to go to the south rim of the Grand Canyon,
Hmm.
and that's a very, very beautiful view there. And while they were there, he popped the question to Jared, at Daryl, and Daryl said yes. So there you go. She's now an engaged woman. She's off the market, guys. So quit asking me to send nudies of her. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I don't. But, uh, congratulations, Daryl, and certainly the best of life for you and the luck for you. As we're all happy for you here at the Cardinal Couple, for sure. Uh, so follow us on Twitter if you want, or X. It's up to you. We thank you if you do. Let's go ahead and get into some of the things that have happened here, Jeff, over the week. I think I've covered everything that we normally cover pre meat and bones of the show here.
Hmm.
Let's
Yep.
take it on back, I guess, maybe to Thursday when the Cards went down to Clemson, South Carolina, where the Clemson Tigers said, you know what? We're going to play you all in a little bit of women's soccer here. Let's do it. Let's go. And beautiful field down there, too. This one was available on the ACC Network Extra, and watched most of this one. And, it was for 70 minutes here, Jeff. The Cards were tied in a scoreless match against Clemson. But then all of a sudden, well,
And that's been the challenge for this team the whole time is that the defense is great, but it's generally not going to hold the whole game, particularly against good teams. And if you can't create your own offense to counterbalance what's going to slip through, it's the results aren't on the side that you want it to be on. I think we could have our defense is on par with many of the top teams in the country. I think, but if you can't create any of your own offense, it's just not going to go anywhere. A 0-0 draw is still a draw. It's only 1 point. You need to get some wins in there.
scoring has got to become and then let's face it, there's only 2 matches left here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that the Cards will make the
Mhm.
ACC tournament based on the way they're going right now. Uh,
Based on
a
their
lot will
accumulated
depend on,
points.
yeah, tomorrow. If they can beat Wake at Wake, there's a ghost of a chance, but I just don't see them getting in. But scoring is the key here, and sadly, when you take a look back, they got shut out of Clemson. They did manage to tie Boston College at Boston College, but that was a 1-1 tie. So, you know,
So it's 6 teams get in, right?
from what I remember, yes, it's six
Yeah.
teams, with the top two teams getting a bye.
So the top six right now ends with Wake Forest with 10 points, and we're sitting there with 8 points. So we're not that far out of it, but you
So if
know,
we were technically able to go down and beat Wake, we would pick up 3 points then, right?
right,
And then be up on them.
be one up on them and put us into ish the kind of bubble area. Depending, we've got Virginia Tech, NC State, Duke, and Virginia that are just ahead of us. They all have 9 points. So depending on what happens with them, we would need more than just the one win.
And then that's the second to the last game of the year tomorrow at Wake Forest. And then the soccer squad will come back here to play Duke on, was that Thursday, I believe, next week.
Yeah.
And I'd say, if you beat Wake Forest, you've got to be able to beat Duke too in order to make the tournament.
Yeah, I think both of these have to be wins for any chance of making the tournament. Um, and even then, that's not a guarantee.
And you just have to kind of wonder and think about what's been going on with soccer this year. They unfortunately just didn't get off to the greatest of starts when they came out to begin the season. They actually didn't even pick up a win until the month of September.
Yeah, lots of draws.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
they had some ties and they had a couple of very narrow losses in there, but they were able to beat the Chippewas up at Central Michigan and then fell into a 3-game either tie or losing streak after that before knocking off Pitt. And then after the Pitt win, which was of course, at their home at Lynn Stadium out there, they went into a 3-game losing streak, all 2 of them on the road. They did bring Florida State in, lost to them 2-0 before getting their 3rd win of the season out of course, at their home stadium at Lynn again, beating Syracuse 2-1. 3 wins on the season, Jeff. I'm a big soccer fan, and I like to see the way we play. And I'm not satisfied with the product this year. I'll be quite honest, and put my foot right down on the sidewalk. No.
yeah, it's a little. I think it's disappointing, given the timber of what we like to think of as UofL athletics and the sort of success that we aim for. I don't. I kind of gotta agree that the soccer is program right now is just not measuring up to that. Um, you know, they're not the only program that's not measuring up to that right now, but I think it's the one that's probably the most egregious. So, um, yeah, I'm I hate that, but it is an honest assessment. I think that's an honest assessment of it.
And I've been following the sport for a long time. It was, besides women's basketball, it was basically one of the first sports that I really started attending on any regular basis. Back about the same time softball too, but this was out at the uh, where the track and field facility is now on campus, and they've soccer played their games there,
Yep.
right there, right next to where the field hockey is
Yeah,
now.
it
And
wasn't that long ago.
it wasn't too far back, no, when you
Yeah,
think of it in time,
yeah,
and it was kind of sandwiched in between Ulmer Stadium there and Traeger Stadium, and very nice facility. I thought the surface wasn't the best to speak of as far as that goes. Uh,
yeah. I think the service was okay. It's always a little challenging to be hemmed in by a track. like that. Like you don't have much overrun outside of the boundaries of the soccer field at that point. But it works. The surface was, okay. Um, you had the stands. It was okay. It was an okay stadium to play in, but certainly the move up to Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium was a big step up. And yeah, it kind of removes some of the excuses for not having success, right? You want to be able to recruit and draw people, and part of that is having good facilities. We've got one of the best in the country right now, so that reason for not succeeding is gone, and so I have to kind of look at others.
That old facility which they still run track and field on, and I don't know what they do at the middle part out there where all the grass is, where they used to play soccer. I don't know if the team still practices over there occasionally, or whether they have intramural
No,
soccer.
well, they do the practices out in front of like Bass Road, right?
Yeah,
And
over there where the
some
golf
there when
field
they're
is.
not in the stadium. Mostly, I think they practice in the stadium. So, but the track and field facility is, I don't think they ever do anything with soccer in there anymore. It's the track and field has that completely for their use.
They had a press box that actually you stared out into the east up in that press box up there, which were the current facility over there at Lynn Stadium. If you're in the press box, you stare northward
Uh-huh.
toward downtown Louisville, and
Feel
I
like you're
can,
directing airplane traffic as
yeah,
they
if you
come in
like,
for landing.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. You
yeah.
just feel like there's one coming right down on top of you, and then of course the railroad runs right next to the stadium as well, over in Lynn too. But I can just remember the old facility over there. If you were happening to catch a game that was in the middle of the afternoon and it was sunny, it was blinding. I mean, you couldn't even see the field up there in that old press box.
Hmm.
But those days long gone. The thing is, I think, Jeff, there's some things I think we can agree on here. First of all, they need to be able to find a scoring punch, right?
Yeah, need some offense. I mean,
And they
that's
haven't
been
had
the
one
story of
since
the whole
Mina
season.
Ekic. Yeah,
Yeah.
since Amina Ekic, they haven't had the girl who could do that and get that going for them. Uh, and if you look down this roster, I think there's some probables, maybe some potentials of players that could, but nobody's stepped up to take that role yet. So, gotta wish them the best of luck though as they continue on and fight on. And the second big question is too, and I've been getting this for some readers, also in some other conversations I've had, is it about time for Karen Ferguson Days to gallop, get on her pony and gallop off to the western sunset and wave Via con Diaz to Louisville? Uh, I don't know. It's a tough call. 24 years, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the program, and it's kind of hard to say no to that, but it's also kind of tough to say yes. It's a hard decision to make. Um, Obviously, if a change is needed after the season, hopefully it's done respectfully and um, supportively as much as possible for something like that. If it's you know if it's an unwilling decision on her part, maybe she's ready to retire. I don't know. I haven't spoken to her about it. Obviously, I'm not that close to her, but yeah, I got to think this can't go on too much longer. Honestly, like this.
She has been uh, kind of a, I'm not going to say this in a bad way or anything, but avoiding any post game interviews as well.
Hmm.
When we defeated Syracuse there back on the 8th, she sent the seniors over. And
Which
that was a lot
it
of,
was senior day. That's fair, but yeah, combined with the others,
yeah, and usually it would be something where she would kind of talk first and then have the seniors come over, but this was strictly a senior show, and then you have to go back to the win previous to that, and that'll take you all the way back to the 3-2 win over Pitt. And we were informed uh, after the end of that one that she would not be meeting with the media. So maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe she's got some stuff going on where she can't do the post games anymore. I don't know, but I think it kind of strange for somebody who has always gladly and welcomed the chance to talk with either me or Jared or Case at times.
Yeah.
uh,
It's either us being paranoid or there's an avoidance going on there.
yeah, so
Yeah, I'm not sure which.
we'll let that conspiracy theory kind of roll on by us here and not take too much attention to it because honestly, what can we do about it if we wanted to? Not really that much. Uh, we're not a hounding type of website.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so we'll move it on into some action then that took place yesterday. Uh, and things got started kind of late in the day yesterday. A Friday 6 p.m. start at field hockey for the Cards, who were number 8 going into that game, hosting Syracuse, coming into play at Traeger. This one was well, it was disappointing. That's the only thing that I can say about it. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. Not going to do a lot of complaining. I'm not going to really do anything else. I'm just going to say that, you know, we had a chance here. And guess what? We fell flat on our faces. It was horrible. This one was 4-0 at one time against Syracuse. We did finally get a goal late, but Jeff, what in the world happened here?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch this one, but it was a Syracuse team that they came in at 2-2 in conference, and we were no, excuse me, 1-3,
They were
and
1-3 coming in here, yeah.
yeah, and we were 2-2. Which it doesn't take a whole lot to provide separation in a seven team conference like we have, but yeah, there's a little bit there, and it just that was a much more lopsided score in that direction than I would have expected. I could have seen a close game, a tightly battled game between two teams like that, and I could have would have believed Louisville winning 4-1. I would have believed that. Um, I did not expect Syracuse to come in and have that sort of pretty dominant, honestly, sort of result against Louisville. Um, so yeah, it's more than a little bit of a head scratcher there.
And the Cuse was the by far dominant team on offense. They outshot Louisville 16-8.
Yeah,
They had a 10-5 edge on shots on goal.
we didn't get any shots at all until the fourth quarter. Was that?
That's right.
Did I see that right? Yeah.
No shots on goal until the fourth quarter. And we also got smoked on penalty corners 9-3 advantage Syracuse.
Yeah.
It was just wasn't good. And Jared texted me. He was out there for this one. I watched it on the ACC Network Extra. But Jared kind of texted me and he said, "I'm assuming you don't want me to talk to Salary."
I'm not sure you're going to get a chance to. That's kind of my thinking.
Say, bud, here's my feelings on this thing. I don't think I'd want to be you if you were talking to Salary.
Yeah.
That could be right in direct line of a nail gun. Wow. But she did release a statement later on in the evening. I guess
Yeah.
my guess is that she said, "Well, I better say something, Lori. Write this down."
Yeah.
So, but and then I'm looking at the comments here. This was a tough night here at Traeger. Yes, it was. Or it certainly was. Syracuse came to play. That's the bottom line. One would think that if you've come all this distance to travel to a town, you would come to play. But okay, very good, coach. Uh, Impressive play, impressive and good individual efforts, but collectively they were clearly the much better team for the first 3 quarters, and I think that's very true. They were. Uh, Cards gave up some early goals, including one in the fourth minute of play. Uh, and basically, her explanation here is that she thinks the team is good enough, but she thinks that they've reached a place in the season where they're at a fork in the road, and they can either go down one road or they can go down the right road and come back collectively and work hard. Uh, I think pretty much they've already turned onto that road, Jeff, and they need to do a U-turn and get back on the right road.
Yeah, that it was certainly a hard turn yesterday in that direction. So, yeah, it needs to. I think they're maybe not far down the road, but they're down it a little bit and need to turn around.
Giving 4 goals up to Syracuse, which and surprisingly, Syracuse was a team that uh, was attacking us very, very easily. It seemed like to me, and getting a lot of shots at our Merlin and the Magician, our goalie, had 6 saves back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in addition to the 4 goals we gave up with 6 shots on goal saves, that's oof, that's firing away.
Yeah,
And
that is, and it's similar to what we talked about with soccer, right? You can have a really good defense. Eventually, some are going to slip through. You've got to either take more possession so that they have fewer opportunities, or at least make pay with the possessions you have and answer those scores. And yeah, I feel like he just really didn't do that yesterday.
you and I talked about this just a little bit before we actually got into the broadcast, and the fact that we are now tied. I think is it for 4th place in the conference? Did we determine that was correct?
Yes, we are. Yeah, tied for fourth with Boston College and Syracuse after last night's match. Yeah.
So a lot is really going to depend. As we're 2-3 in the ACC, I guess we're tied with the Orange. They're at 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lot's really going to depend on what happens. I think pretty much right now.
Yep. Yeah, it's us versus Boston College, and I think I saw Syracuse does not have another match. They are done with their regular season. I think is what I saw. Let me double check that.
Yeah, because I've only shown them with 5 conference games.
Yeah,
But
which is weird, but
we've got
oh no,
5.
okay, they do play Wake Forest. All right, they have Wake Forest still on Friday. It's like surely they have another one, but yeah,
Because I thought that we had everybody played each other once
yeah,
in conference play,
yeah,
and that was it.
yeah. And Wake Forest is 0-5; they're last in the conference. So let's presume for the moment that Syracuse wins that. At best, we can finish uh, tied with Syracuse at that point in whatever position. We can. So Virginia's done. They're at 3-3. So at best, we can tie Virginia for third place. I think is our best option at this point, and it could. That's likely to be a 3-way tie at third place. Us, Virginia, and Syracuse is what I'm seeing.
And then hopefully the Cards will uh, be able to at least get a win for morale's sake, although it's not going to affect the conference standings on Sunday.
Mhm.
Bringing in Appalachian State to play them. That's the regular season ender
Right.
and the home ender, of course. Or no, I'm wrong on that, aren't I? We still got Boston College up there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The home ender
Yeah.
is what that one is against
Correct.
App State. So, and I'm not really sure about Appalachian State as far as a record goes or anything this year. We'll get into that breakdown probably tomorrow a little more because that one will be one that the Cards will. I think they're going to want to come out and tell themselves, okay, we got to stop this losing streak now. We got to start winning stuff, y'all.
Yeah, because I mean we've been talking a lot about ACC tournament play, but there's the bigger picture of NCAA tournament play as well, which is still a difficult um, tournament to get into. And it would we at this point 18 teams in the tournament? It's that's not a lot of opportunities there when you have, half of those are automatic qualifiers. So
And I guess it does break down to, if I'm not mistaken, 18 teams. Is that right this year?
I have not specifically looked for this year, but that's what it's been the past couple of years.
So I'm kind of confused by that. Why don't they just go to a 32? But anyway, who knows? It's the NCAA and the way they do things. And as we have all decided many years ago, the NCAA is stupid. So
Yeah.
we'll go with that. We're going to end up today with volleyball, but before we get into that, I just wanted to cover a little bit about basketball real quick. Women's basketball. We did get some preseason polls out, Jeff. We did see that the Cards are 15 in the USA Today poll and 17th in the AP poll. Is that about what you figured we would come in at?
Yes. There's a whole lot of question marks, I think, on this team because um there's so much new, right? That what, 7 new players on the roster?
Yeah,
Um and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's question marks indicate an unknown, and so there's 7 new players. There's a lot of unknowns going on there. Are they going to be a good team? Are they not going to be a good team? There's a lot of talent. It's a question of, do they come together? Coach Wall's typically been pretty good about putting teams together and putting together a good cohesive unit. Sometimes it takes a little while through the season for that to really happen, but certainly I think it's a reasonable starting point. You know, Obviously, we've all talked about a lot. Preseason rankings are um, really kind of just, you know, vibes and wishes. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, all right, it's nice, but whatevs. Let's see how the games start actually being results start happening when the games actually start being played. That's where the rubber meets the road. So yeah,
and Wall,
I'm okay
yeah,
with it.
Walls has tended to ignore rankings anyway over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
It doesn't really matter. He said just because we're ranked higher than somebody doesn't automatically give us a win over them.
right.
He said they're still going to go out there and dribble and shoot.
Yeah, they're still gonna roll those balls out there and say, okay,
Yeah,
let's go to
and and he's absolutely correct on it. His challenge this year, and something we'll be able to look at obviously a little bit more as things are on, is just mixing in all these new players that he's got coming in. Uh, Canada was a good experience for Louisville. They went
yeah.
up there in the Global Jam and they played very well against the Canadians.
Hmm.
Uh, we learned a little bit about the roster. There's a lot more to learn, kids.
Oh yeah,
This is the type of year I kind of wish they would wear name tags until conference play starts, you know,
yep,
or put the name in really big letters on the back of the jersey.
yeah, for sure.
We'll see what
Low
happens.
down on the jersey, below the number.
Yeah,
You can see it's
back where it
not
can be
obscured
seen, so
by long hair.
so the hair doesn't cover it up.
Right.
Yeah. The Cards have also added a new couple of graduate assistants in Casa Robinson, who we all love so much, and so glad to see her as a graduate assistant. And also Josie Williams comes in, and I'm assuming that Walls took a look around at his roster and said, "You know what? I need somebody to coach the bigs." And I'm looking at my staff, and I don't see any bigs on my staff here. Who's gonna do this? Because I got nobody. Josie Williams is a very, very talented, good basketball player who, uh, you know, gave us some clutch minutes.
Hmm.
She's even more of a fundamentalist as far as learning the game and knowing the game. And I think she'll be a great graduate assistant, tough up some of our girls that are coming in. So love that move, Jeff. Love it. Uh, the tip off luncheon. Everybody asked me, when are they going to do the tip off luncheon this year? Well, why haven't we had a tip off luncheon? It's coming, kids. Be patient. It's going to be Monday, and will be taking place down at the Galthouse East Ballroom again. A great facility for it. A lot of fun in there for that. So I don't know if it's sold out yet or not. My guess is if not, it's probably pretty close. Uh, but you can always take your chances and see if you don't have your tickets already. Sonny and I'll be down there covering that, and we'll see how that works out as far as the crowd attendance and just trying to go around and put names with faces. That's going to be the fun part.
Yeah.
God, I think she's the one that came in from Florida. No, I'm not sure about that. And then the next day, right after that, on Tuesday, Jeff, is ACC Women's Basketball Media Day down in Charlotte. And so they'll be showing that on the ACC network all day long. And it's a lot of fun to watch that and watch the various teams and coaches and a couple of the players come in. It'll be interesting to see who Jeff Walls brings with him down there to
Yeah,
Charlotte.
absolutely. I think it'll be a little bit of elimination into some of the dynamics on the team, maybe to see just to see who goes, regardless of what they say.
That's for sure. And then it'll also be interesting yeah, to see uh, who replaces the little blonde haired girl that went every year. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, folks. Please forgive me. Uh, but that's always fun. I love to watch that day. And then on campus, a week later after that, on the 31st, is going to be the campus media day where Walls talks to the media for about a half an hour or so, usually over there in the basketball training facility, the Yum, as I like to call it, the Cuber Center. And then you get to go out and talk to the team for about a half an hour. They're seated, have seats at various stations around the practice arena over there on the women's side. And you can basically just walk up to them and ask them questions and talk to them and have a lot of fun with them and joke around with them. I always used to like to go directly to Kono. She was so much fun to talk
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
She would be sitting there and looking all apprehensive, and then she'd see me walking across the floor, and then she'd start to smile because she knew that she was going to get some softballs lobbed to her
yeah.
early on. I'm like, Norika, have you done something different with your hair this year? Yes, I have. Some great conversations with her. So, some things to look forward to when it comes to women's basketball. Keep your eyes open for those. We'll remind you of them here at Cardinal Couple as things go on. But let's go ahead and get into a little volleyball now. Certainly, some volleyball events that we want to talk about. First of all, is that reverse sweep last night, Jeff.
I like to think of it as an extended warm up period.
Well, okay then. That'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Oh, yeah. Went to Wake Forest and played them there. Um, a fine team. They've got some talent, but not really at the level of what we have available to us. But unfortunately, that didn't look to be the case in the first two sets. Certainly, Louisville came out kind of flashbacks to the funk that I called it a little while back in the first two sets. Just shanking balls, just not playing well, just not even an execution, communication. Just really just didn't play well. I mean, that's all you can say. I'm sure coaching could probably break down some of the specifics a bit more, but just poor passing, poor just balls weren't weren't put where they needed to be to have successful transitions and offense. So they came out in the third set and looked like a different team. Looked like the team that played Pitt. Came out in the fourth set and just looked like world beaters. The fourth set was 25-5. It was one of the more dominant sets of volleyball I've ever seen. And then obviously, cruised in the fifth set to the victory. It was mind-boggling what was going on in the first two sets. I don't know what got in their heads, but they did eventually clear it out and get back to playing the way they have the ability and the talent to do. But that's not something we can do with just any team. So it's a little concerning.
Yeah, and also another thing that was very surprising to me was the fact that this was not made available on the ACC Network Extra. This is the number 5 team in the nation coming into play. Your arena holds roughly 800, something like that. Would you not want to put this out there on a broad-based network platform where the rest of the league could see it?
You'd think that to be jumping at the chance to put this out there on just about anything. I mean, just stick a camera up there and don't put any commentators on it. That's fine.
Yeah.
If we can see the whole court, then that's better than nothing, right? But no, that it's the opportunities available to them through the ESPN organization with the UCC network extra streaming. They just gotta set it up and do it. How you do it with a camera and a laptop is all that's really needed um, to get a basic stream of something going. But yeah, it was. I've even seen some schools take a feed off of the like jumbotron display and just feed that, and it's a little weird sometimes when you see it on the stream, but at least it's something. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed in Wake on that.
I think we would have even been glad to lend them Patty Norton
Yeah,
if they had needed somebody to help to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But boy, that first set from the
Oh,
stat tracker, what I was looking at and reading at, wow, they jumped out to a 7-0 lead on us, Jeff. Oh,
7-1, I think. Yeah,
that's kind of an indication early on that we're not
that
quite
was
with the
seven
game and not
nothing.
quite
Yeah.
into it. Yeah, and then they had built
Wow.
that up to 12-5 at
Yeah.
one point in time in that first set before the Cards finally shook off the whatever was on them, went on a 6-1 run and got it back to 13-11. They were close, and they were knocking on the door and getting a little bit closer. But then Wake said to us, "No, I don't think so. Ye shall get no closer than that." And then ended up winning this thing 25-21 in the first set. Unfortunately, Louisville giving up a service error as the final point
Yeah, that
of
really
that
hurts.
set.
Anytime you lose a set on a service error, that's painful.
And you kind of thought maybe in the second set that the way that it kind of began a little bit that the Cards may have shaken everything off and had settled in to go and were ready to play here and get things straightened out. So Louisville actually started out well with a 5-2 lead.
It was definitely better in the second set, but it was not. Yeah, still, even when they were leading, I was looking at it going, "I'm surprised they're leading," based on what I saw. So um, it was not great play still, but we're able to keep ahead on the scoreboard for most of the set despite that.
But then all of a sudden at that 5-2 juncture in that second set, Jeff, boom, all of a sudden Wake said, guess what? Uh, I think we'll start playing again.
Yeah.
They took 7 of the 8 next points to take a 9-6 lead.
Mm-hmm.
And what's insult upon injury is the last 2 points in that run were aces and never hit a De Beer.
Yeah.
And so Danny had to make a decision.
Yeah, set De Beer down from the back row playing. Anna is usually a 6 rotation player, but took her out, brought in Camden Schran, is a little more sure on digging and passing than Anna is. Um, usually Anna is good in the back row. Camden is better. So, and De Beer was having struggles last night, so it was time to bring in somebody a little more sure-fired in the back row. That's what they did. It helped a bit. I think it may have done more mentally than it did as far as actual play on the floor, potentially, but certainly it was the beginning of the turnaround, I think. Did not get the win in the second set, but kept it a lot closer. Certainly stunted the charge that Wake Forest put on, as you pointed out, a significant run. But and then we were able to stop that and stay with them, but weren't able to get back on top of it for that set.
Cards actually had a 21-20 lead late in that second set.
Yep.
But the serving line kind of came back and bit us on the butt again. Serving error and then a serving ace by Wake. Went up 23-21 on us. And we could only kind of trade side outs with them before they took that second one, 25-23. And wow, what do you think it was like in the locker room at halftime for the Cards, Jeff?
Everybody jokes about it, peeling the playing off the wall and stuff like that. My understanding from talking to various people is that is just not the way that this coaching staff works. Um, I don't think that there was probably raised voices and uh, anger or anything like that. I think there was a very honest assessment of here, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what you've got to do if you want to win this. And it's up to you all. If you decide you want to play well and be able to win this game, then here's what you need to do. Here's where you need to clean things up and come out and get your heads on straight. Um, that's my guess at what happened in the locker room. Um, but obviously, we'll never know for sure.
And I kind of
But it
like
worked.
uh, Case Hoskins had our write up today, and he said that the scenario could have been like the one that Robert Loggia had from Necessary Roughness. Let's analyze what's been working for us. Not a goddamn thing,
Yeah.
which I think would have been perfect. But, whatever. Uh, whatever was said and done in there, the Cards finally realized, hey, you know what? We came all this way to play volleyball. Let's not go home in three. What do you say? So they came in. They put a little fight into it. The third set was in part much improved for Louisville, jumping after a 3-0 lead, building that up to 13-7, and then eventually just taking off from there and winning this thing 25-15. So the Cards had kind of turned the table a little bit, Jeff, and it was looking like they had finally realized who they were and who they were playing.
Yeah, and that was just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Obviously they came out and they were back to the team that they are capable of being. They have the talent level to be, and got their heads out of their funk again, whatever it was, and put on a good show in the third set, and then just kind of the was you ain't seen nothing yet, folks, and then came out for the fourth and just put it to them.
And if you were Wake Forest, you were probably thinking to yourself in that fourth set, we got this thing across town we got to get to. Thanks for coming down. We got to go. Feel free to play here against yourselves if you want to for a while. We're out of here. That fourth set was very embarrassing. A 25-5 win for Louisville.
Yeah, that is very close to the most lopsided set score I've seen in my time watching volleyball. I've seen a couple that were 25-4 is the most lopsided I've seen in a 25-point set. Um, Obviously, we got to mention last year's 15-2 against Pitt in the fifth in the semifinals, but of a 25-point set, this is close to one of the most dominant sets I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. I think for the Demon Deacon fans that were there, and certainly for the team. But so went to the fifth set, and the Cards took the fifth set 15-7. They actually led 8-3
Mm-hmm.
when they do the side change in that fifth set like they do.
Yep.
And then went on to win 15-7. Maybe the Cards needed this kind of test, Jeff.
We've had one. I mean, we lost to NC State. But yeah, it's definitely, there is, as you start looking at postseason, it is good to be able to look and say, okay, yes, they have been tested. They have had games where they haven't played well and they had to respond and did so. It's also good to be able to say, okay, they have had 5-set matches, because that really changes, the sort of tone of postseason play when you start hitting some of those 5-set matches, and being able to say, yeah, we played an X number of 5-set matches and we won, Y number of them. That helps to be able to have that. So it's not all bad, but man, certainly I don't want to see this team come out and play like they did in the first 2 sets. I'd like to see, if you're going to have a 5-set match, let it be because the other team just played out of their minds. And you had a target on your back rather than just playing poorly. Not to take anything away from Wake, they did play well in the first 2 sets, and they kind of fell apart later on. But it's Louisville also just played badly in the first 2 sets. There's no 2 ways about it.
And hopefully this is the first of two out on the road. The Cards will be able to kind of discuss at length what they did wrong, figure out how they came back and did things right, and then not really show any blurbs or miscues like they did at Virginia Tech, which is a little arena down there. I think Castle holds maybe Castle Coliseum probably holds what 3,000, close to that.
I do not know.
It's a
I'm not that
small
familiar with
little
it.
arena where
Yeah.
actually Virginia Tech plays their basketball as well. But the beautiful arena too. I mean, it's just ornately done and just looks fantastic. But uh, another road test for the Cards, as they'll do that Sunday before coming back home next week to host Florida State and Miami coming in. So
Yep, we get the Florida contingent arriving as I think this is the last of the travel pair setups, maybe this coming week. Is that correct?
as far as I can see, they go to Georgia Tech and Clemson, which really
Oh,
can't
that
be
would be.
easier.
Yeah, there's still travel pairs.
And then come in here though, 12th and 19th of November, you got UNC and Duke. That's kind of close, isn't
12th,
it?
10th, and 12th. Yeah, they may be.
Or 10th and 12th, you're right.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe we only have two that are not. I don't know. Because North Carolina's a repeat. Have we played Duke already? Yeah, Duke's a repeat.
we
Repeat.
took Duke in three sets there. I
Yeah,
remember
but
that.
those were yeah. So we went to North Carolina and Duke as a travel pair. Interesting. I wonder if they're just doing it next. That's not usually like them, but okay.
Should
Maybe
be
a group.
interesting to
Yeah,
see how all that changes too, Jeff, when
yeah,
we had our new
yeah.
friends,
We
the
had three
Dolphins.
more teams. It's gonna change it
Yeah,
up. Yeah,
could be some fun scheduling there. But hey, by golly, by gosh, it's a little past the noon hour. We've had so much fun on the broadcast here, discussing some of the things that have been going on, and certainly I think you and I handled it quite well, sir. And
yeah,
so, not that we didn't miss our friends, obviously. We were kind of lonely up here for a little while, but
yeah, yeah,
no, we did a fine job with it. So let's go ahead and I guess get into some final thoughts then, huh?
yeah. I
If
don't know
you
if
want
you
to
have.
start it out, it's either you or me can start it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can start it out. We've got some interesting results beyond Louisville with volleyball. Washington State got beaten last night by unranked USC, Southern Cal. Washington State is one place above us in the rankings, so they probably will move down significantly in the rankings, which basically leaves room for us to move up in the poll to the number 4 position. So, also similarly, tonight is maybe the matchup of the year in NCAA volleyball, with number 1 Wisconsin playing number 2 Nebraska. So I don't expect whoever loses in that one to drop too terribly much because it is 1 versus 2. But if it becomes enough, it might be another place for us to move up, depending upon who loses that. So,
Do we get any TV on that or on the internet?
that's a good
That
question.
could be a fun one to watch right there.
Yeah, I suspect it's on Big Ten Network. Give me a minute and look it up while you do
You
your
know?
final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts to me here. I just want to kind of step out of the realm of sports for just a second, and then once again say congratulations and we're proud of you to our writer up here and a guest on the show here with us a lot, and someone who's a part of the broadcast now, and somebody that I've had the pleasure of knowing a very very long time in Daryl Faust. It's been quite a journey and quite a trip for her over the years, and she's come quite a long way in some of the things that she's done. There was a time that she basically had her own radio show and
Mhm,
did that in the evenings on a AM station here in town,
mhm.
and it was it was like a 9 or 10 o'clock broadcast, so it was rather late in the evening, but I had the pleasure of appearing on that a few times, and then basically there were some things going on where she just said, I just uh, I'm doing this with a UOK supporter,
Yeah.
and she wants me to talk a lot of Kentucky. and I can't do it. I just
There's
can't do it.
that back and forth, that tension that was always there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the girl who was basically putting up the money for it, and whose father was paying for the advertising dollars, uh, just said, "Well, either let's do it my way, or maybe we just don't do it."
Yeah.
And Daryl said, "Well, maybe we just don't do it then."
Yeah.
And seeing that she was available, then I kind of threw out
Okay. Come
the
join
the
us.
bouquet of roses at her and said, "Hey, we had some fun over here, and you've had me on your show quite a few times. Why don't you just team up with us and write a day a week?"
Yeah.
And she took me up on it, and has been doing that ever since. And then, in addition, as Nick Evans used to like to say, my ball game buddy, she sits with me at the women's basketball games during the weeknight games. Sonia joins me for the weekend games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right. I've always got a woman with me wherever I go.
Just to keep you in line.
Just basically, you have to send a zookeeper to watch the penguin,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that kind of deal. But it's kind of funny, and I get some cracks from people about that all the time too.
Yep.
I just take it in good nature, and I say, I'm a doddering old man. They might find me out there trying to play in the third quarter, so they have to have somebody there to contain me.
Yeah.
But certainly, to Daryl, the best of it, man. You married a great guy, and he cares about you a lot.
Well, they're not married yet.
Well,
They're gonna be.
It's marrying a great guy. Is what I kind of meant for that to roll out there. But they're not married yet. That's true, and certainly a good life ahead for them.
They will, but yeah.
I think they'll be fine. And the next thing I'm going to try to accomplish and put around my thoughts are Daryl as a mother. We'll
maybe.
see. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let's not make assumptions. But yeah. So Nebraska and Wisconsin will be on the Big Ten Network. They're also streaming it on Fox Sports. So a couple different ways you can get on that. So.
Well, that should be a fun one to watch then if you're.
Yeah, it's a big match. Just general and volleyball. That's a big match.
I know there is football today, but I think football, Louisville's not playing, are they? This is a bye week for the Cards in football.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Go out and watch some volleyball on TV. Do that. Have some fun with it. And other than that, that's about it for us. I want to thank everybody for listening today and joining us, and we'll catch you next week. So.